I think the fact that, well, you guys have already seen the title. You've already known that this was going to be about what's happened and the news that have been going on. So first off, funny enough, I took last week off because I I just had this very weird feeling like I was going to get incredibly it was almost precognition. I want to say like some part of me in my core maybe felt something was wrong, and it turned out to be just true. Um, Tuesday was a particularly bad day for my mental and my headspace. I don't know what happened. I believe I got overwhelmed, and I really do feel that that was the case too. I just could not find any semblance of peace in my head. There were just storm clouds and haziness. I couldn't do anything about it, and that was perhaps what frustrated me the most. As someone who is overly emotional, I pride myself in both being able to handle my emotions a bit better now I've gotten older, and maybe maybe I felt disappointed in myself. Maybe I was just being too hard on myself. This is often the case where I feel like I shouldn't allow myself to get that stressed and that worked up and that upset. But with the help of my family, I was able to get out of that bad space, recover. And thanks to that, I was able to go through the rest of the week. But then just what really set me over the edge was I don't normally like to talk about this because again, I always say that it's not my place to say, but a family member had to have surgery this week, which really just like on that day, I got the news that day too. It was just like it was so bad that my father actually told me, whatever like stuff you got to do today, just don't worry about it. Just step away for a bit and try your best to relax and then reclaim your headspace. I was just sad. Um, Thankfully everything's okay. The family member's all right. Still cracking jokes. This is often the case. Um, and I know. I think you all saw it too. It was Friday night is when I found out that we lost Akira Toriyama. A lot of people have already done tribute videos. Thank you. I myself left a message on my channel, and I wrote that I was pretty much taking a break from Twitter after that. I do not want to see what people say. I watched a few of the videos on Baku, Syriac, Sparkle. I've seen what people like Rhyme Style, Ichiro Oda, many others have said. It really is heartbreaking. And I want to grieve in my own way. I'm still grieving a bit because of what Toriyama meant to me personally. I wasn't always very shy, very introverted, and a very quiet person. When I was much younger, before, as I call it, the nightmares happened, and I'm making it seem much more grander than it is, I promise you, it's probably not the case. But I always attribute my sudden shift to being related to these nightmares. I'm sure perhaps someone out there, maybe a doctor or a psychiatrist, can really be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. But Toriyama's works were what enabled me to start trying to interact and engage with others, and it gave me a talking point. One of the... It also... His characters, his worlds made me feel braver. And I'm being dramatic, yes. Hi, welcome to the channel. But I remember being in, it was either second grade or first grade. I don't quite remember who the teacher was, and if I did, I'd be able to tell you. But we had a Halloween thing at my school, and for that Halloween, I wanted to go as my favorite character at the time, Piccolo. And I was a little embarrassed at first. If I had probably stayed in that embarrassed state, I probably wouldn't have dressed up at all, as is somewhat the case now, where I get too embarrassed and a post I'll make or a response I'll type in, and it just all gets deleted. But I decided to do it. I felt I had so much fun in that costume, in that outfit, and it was because I really, truly liked Piccolo. And Piccolo to me was just a cool character. The sacrifice he made for Gohan, he was to me like what a sensei, what a teacher should be. On top of that, a lot of Toriyama's works have provided a lot of fun for me. I've only recently come to realize that the Dragon Quest series, the Dragon Ball games, and things like that, I've played them with Jamer and I've had fun with it. I've done so much because of Toriyama's works. It was a gauge for me, and I'm sorry if you hear the things in the background. I'm just going to keep talking through it as best I can, but I was there was so Dragon Ball was probably, as I imagine for many other people, their first experience with anime, and with anime-like content. It was probably their first shonen, especially here in the West. I had friends who were drawing Dragon Ball characters. I myself tried drawing Dragon Ball characters. We made up our own characters. People were printing out pictures like, this is gonna be the next Super Saiyan, or this is the new Super Saiyan form. They were selling the bootleg toys of them at my local store. And just any game we could get our hands on, we wanted to try playing, especially with the co-op ones where we really did try to have fun. They were bad, but that's where we actually started learning how to do, our little handoffs, where it's like, okay, Jamer's getting frustrated at this part, maybe I can try it. Yeah, I'm getting frustrated at this part, Jamer will try it. And it really also kind of helped us to want to go and create our own stuff. I recently discovered it myself. A lot of my characters who I have, grow stronger during a tense moment when I'm writing, it's through emotion. It's a Super Saiyan power-up. Their emotions are what enable them to have such greater strength. And I probably subconsciously want to incorporate that into my characters because I love the idea of power gained through emotions, because I feel emotions deeply. And on top of just the fact that Dragon Ball was a comfort thing for me. I remember going to Blockbuster and finding the Dragon Ball movies, watching them with Jamer. I remember watching Dragon Ball just on repeat sometimes because it was one of the easier things to just watch and just listen to and enjoy. Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Abridged were big comforts to us. We've rewatched Super and we've enjoyed it and had fun. And on top of that, just the fact that we've lost 3 great mangaka. And Kentaro, I can't remember. I feel so bad. I can't remember his name. But the author for Yu-Gi-Oh! And now Toriyama, like, Kentaro-san was, in my teenage and young adult life, late teen to young adult. Yu-Gi-Oh! Took up a large part of my teens and childhood, and Dragon Ball was just as much there for my early childhood and teen. And that's part of the reason why I probably definitely needed that break last week. As this year has started off so poorly, and I feel like things are just getting taken from me. And I can't stop it. I'm trying my best to keep my head above the water. I'm trying my best to not stay in those moods and cope with them and accept them and overcome them, grow from them. And like many of others have said, he lives on through his works. His works are cherished, you know. And I'm actually going to share that I was so inspired by Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball stuff as of reading it as of late, and that I really wanted to go out, and I was like, what if I could lend a helping hand to Toyotaro and Toriyama and throw in like a character idea that maybe they could add. It was a race of dragon people, actually in Universe 7, just somewhere out in possibly one of the other quadrants where their people have just kind of lived in relative peace. And I had this whole caste system I was working on, their own transformations, and there's so much Dragon Ball that's been part of my life. And it's inspired great parts of my life too. Ichiro Oda, as I pointed out earlier, is one of my favorite mangaka now. It has been for a while with One Piece. One Piece is one of my favorites alongside Dragon Ball and Berserk. And I look at my desk where I have things. I have Dragon Ball things, I have One Piece, Kirby, Gundam, and all those things. Like, I'm pretty sure had I not been introduced to Dragon Ball, it really might have just been like Nintendo stuff at best. I don't think I would have tried those other animes because it would have potentially confused me. I always looked forward to things on like Tsunami and watching Super Saiyan the first time. It was so cool. I taught my aunt, who had no clue about anything anime, the characters. I wanted to tease her because, you know, a little shit, of course. But it was fun. It was bonding for us. I remember telling my grandfather, you know, oh, this happened in this episode. Probably talking his ear off. Telling my dad. And there were the music videos. So many music videos. From Kung Fu Fighting to Linkin Park songs to System of a Down and Disturbed. I still remember that there was a Disturbed one for Down with the Sickness in Dragon Ball. I thought it fit so well and it was so cool to me. I wanted to try doing stuff like that, but I did not have the tools for it, nor the attention span. But it got me to... I attribute a lot of things that, and some people may argue, no, but that was also your own strength. Yes, but what I mean when I say that it inspired me and it made me want to do things is, it gave me that little push I needed. And I've always held what those characters believe as a thing, you know. And in my mind, Goku sparing people, it showed that people can change their worth, letting go, so to speak. Today's enemy could become tomorrow's friend, you never know. And if you take them out, you ruin any chance of that happening. Yes, they could remain a threat. Yes, they could become even worse now that they know exactly how to get you to stop, but they could also become cherished friends and comrades. It's... Again, I've watched quite a few people grieving, and it has helped my own grief. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm in no mood for this. If I see you saying anything in the vein of, you didn't know him, so why are you so... No. I believe Syriacs put it best. Let people be. Don't shame them for it. I've always... I'm gonna go a little bit deep into heroic legend lore here, but I have always been told to feel your emotions. I used to stop myself from feeling them. Don't bury your emotions, don't hide them, feel what you feel. Even if you have to do something as small as, I'm angry, or I'm upset. That's better than just silence. And I learned that from my counselor, who I had for a brief period of time. I needed counseling for a bit. And another thing that I also want to point out from, the bonding that's come from Toriyama's works is I remember going to Blockbuster and going shopping with my dad after said counseling sessions, finding Dragon Ball movies and enjoying them with my dad or gamer. Got my little sisters into enjoying some of it too. So much of my life was influenced by Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball content and Dragon Quest by Toriyama's works. Never read Dr. Slump or some of the other things he's put out, but I can always recognize his art style. It was one of the things I was just like, it looks like a Toriyama work. And I just did not expect him to go when he did. But I do want to, now that I've gone in depth and explained a lot, take the time to move from solemn greetings to perhaps something a little bit lighter. Toriyama, if you can hear this wherever, from not wherever you are, but up there in outer world, I want to thank you for all the memories you've given me, all the inspiration as a creator and a writer, all the little times where you've helped me emotionally with your works. And I want to thank you for enriching my life. I can only hope that a fraction of what I do on this channel and what I write can even measure up to 1/100th of what you've brought to the world. You will be sorely missed. And I just wanted to say again, thank you.